Okay, so thank you all for joining us again in this kitchen today. And this is the soup that we will be getting together. So come on in the kitchen so we can get this Brunswick stew going. Okay?
Now, in getting our Brunswick stew together, it's going to require some pre-prep on your part. Okay, so first let's talk about the vegetables that we're going to be using in this stew. Okay, I'm using a can of green beans, and all of these canned goods are about the 14.5 ounce cans. So I have green beans. I'm going to be using green peas, whole kernel corn. I have some navy beans here and pinto beans. So these are my canned goods that I've chosen. You can have variation in the canned goods that you choose, but you want to choose the beans and peas that are more solid and that will hold up to about that hour of cooking. So kind of stay in this range with your canned beans and peas, and also corn. But also, when you open these canned goods, do not drain them, because these are poured into the soup with the juice that is in the can. Also, I have already cut up my turkey sausage, and this is a pound of turkey sausage that I'm using. I have my mushrooms that I purchased. I purchased these already cut up, kind of saved me some prep time. This is my block of cheese. I haven't cut it up yet because it comes later in the recipe, so I can cut it up as the soup is cooking. And this right here takes you some time to. This is my Trinity mix. I have a small onion cut up here. This is a small bell pepper, and this here is about 4 stalks of celery. I like a lot of celery in my soup. I bought my cheddar cheese already shredded, because we're going to use a little bit of this also. And my ground beef is already ready for me too. So this is pretty much the most of your prep right here. So get all of this together before you start cooking your soup, and so everything can just go quickly as you go through the process. Okay, so now let's get over on the stove and get this soup put together. Okay, what we're doing first in this pot is browning up our meat, and I think my ground beef is only 7% fat, so it's pretty lean here. And the turkey, of course, turkey sausage, of course, is very lean. Now, I may have said already that there are a variety of meats that you can use in doing a Brunswick stew. When the stews were originally made way back when they started making Brunswick stew, it used to be made with small gamey meat, like rabbits or squirrels or something like that that the men had been hunting. They bring that home and get that lean meat cooked up, or it was or they use chicken. A lot of people today use chicken to make their stew, so you can use a rotisserie chicken, a pre-cooked chicken, or you can go ahead and just brown your chicken before you start adding your vegetables. But at any rate, make sure that you're using a lean meat when you're doing this stew. And if your ground beef, if you choose to use ground beef and it has too much fat rendered out of it, make sure that you drain that fat off before you start adding your vegetables, because this stew is a kind of a lean stew. Okay, so let's get this meat finished browning up before we add our next ingredient. Now you can see our meat is well browned here. So now I'm ready to add my Trinity mix, okay? So that's our vegetables that we've already got pre-cut here, okay? So that's my bell pepper, my celery, and my onions in there. All hand cut. If you have yours frozen, I'm sure that will work very well. Okay, so I got that in there, and then you're gonna add about 4 cloves of garlic, but mine are already in the jar there, so that's a real good tablespoon. of garlic right there to equal the 4 cloves. So I'm going to get this kind of stirred around in there and let that kind of cook down until those vegetables have softened. Looking good and smelling good, and this is the way I like a smell to be in the winter time. It was fall of the year now, but this is the stew that I tend to bring out in the fall and winter winter time of the year, and it makes a pretty nice pot of stew. So if you don't have a large family, make sure that you freeze this up, you know, because it freezes well and it reheats well too. Okay. Our vegetables have softened and everything is coming together really nicely. Now we're ready to add. I'm putting in here 3 bay leaves. Do not forget how many bay leaves you're putting in, because that's how many you're going to be taking out. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and add our canned vegetables to this mixture. I'm going to add my green beans, and remember, we're adding them with the juice in them. Okay, can of green beans. I'm going to go ahead and add my can of whole kernel corn. Okay, I'm going to add my pinto beans. And I'm going to add my navy beans. And if these are not beans that you like to eat, then you choose a different bean to add to yours. Kidney beans are a good choice for this recipe. Okay. And I'm going to reserve adding the sweet peas until later, because their sweet peas kind of hold up, you know, kind of don't hold up as well as the others, but they're a good additive for this recipe, and they're kind of soft, so I just kind of save them to the end, and I'll let you know when I'm adding that. So right now we got all of these vegetables added in here, and I'm also reserving my mushrooms to later. So this is going to cook for about 30 minutes. Let this go. Okay, so we'll put the top on and be back in 30 minutes. So we're now ready to add our next ingredients here. We're going to season our soup now with I'm doing about a half teaspoon of pepper there, just regular black pepper. And I'm going to do about the same of salt. We don't want to put too much salt in there, because all of those canned goods that we used had salt in them. I did not use the no salt version. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and add my mushroom. If you don't like mushroom, this recipe will not be angry with you if you don't put them in there. So, but I like them. So we're gonna get those kind of stirred in there. And you can cut them up a little if you want to, but I like everything kind of chunky in this soup, kind of rustic, if you will. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and add my can of green peas. And we're gonna let this go about 10 minutes just to bring the pot back up to temp, about 10 minutes, and then we'll be, you know, adding our next ingredients to this. Now we're ready to add our next couple of ingredients. We are adding, this is 3 teaspoons of vinegar. And I'm just using a little malt vinegar, but it could be white vinegar or whatever vinegar you might have. And this right here, I'm using 1 pack of taco seasoning. And that's to make it easier, because if you want to, you know, go with the chili powder and all the different seasonings that they put in the taco mix. That's your call. And one of the reasons that we add the taco seasonings towards the end, because it has cornstarch in it, and you know that's gonna thicken up your soup. So we're gonna put that in there and stir this around. Let it go for about, I'm gonna say about 5 minutes or so before we add our next ingredients to the soup. So give it about 5 minutes for those two ingredients to sink in. And it's smelling awfully good. Okay, now we're in the home stretch with our soup. I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of mustard. Okay, get it. This one. Try to put it over here so we can see. 2, 3, 4. All right. I'm adding 1 can of tomato paste, and you know this also is a thickener for this stew here. I keep using those words interchangeably, soup and stew, but we know a soup is a much thinner than a stew is, and this is definitely going to be much thicker than that of a soup. And this is giving us our tomato base that the Brunswick stew is known for. The tomato base with the vegetables and lean meat. Okay, so that's a thickener. Now we want to add our cheese. I'm putting in, this is my shredded cheese here. I'm putting in a cup of this, about a cup, half the bag. Okay, I'm then putting in that block of Monterey Jack cheese that I cut up. Okay, and the last cheese that I have is, this is some of that soft cheese like Velveeta. I'm using one of the smallest block that you can buy of that soft cheese, and I'm not advertising for Velveeta, but if you get that other brand, it's a little bit less taxing on your pockets, and it does the same thing in here. So we're going to stir this around a little bit, and then you guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm turning off my eye. All of this is going to sit and come together. I've not taken the bay leaves out yet. I guess at this point I can take them out, or sometimes I just let them sit in the soup as long as it sits. But I'm just going to go in and take them out at this point. But that's kind of your call. They've melded well in there, but I just don't want to. I don't want to forget about them, because that has happened before. But I'm in search of them, and make sure that you get them all out. Am I overlooking the bay leaves, or? But rest assured, I will get them out before. There it is. There's 2. I'm sure I put 3 in here, so do not give up on your soup until you get all of those bay leaves out, because that is not something that you want your guests to bite down on. So I'll continue to fish for it as my soup sits here. And you know, the longer this soup sits, the better the taste develops in it, because all those flavors have a chance to come together and everybody plays well, and the soup is going to thicken up as it cools. But I'll continue looking for my bay leaf and letting the soup just sit and do its thing. Okay, so when we come back, we'll be coming back to dip into the pot a little bit. Okay, oh, there's the other bay leaf. All 3 are out. And at this point, we're gonna add a half cup of red wine, because you know it's gonna be some booze in here. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put the top back on him, give this a good stir. Look at that. Isn't that a good looking soup, y'all? Look, yes, yes, okay. So I'm gonna put the top back on and let it cool. And I'm pretty sure I'll probably be making me a pan of cornbread to go along with this, okay? Okay, y'all, here's our Brunswick stew. We got it all done, and I want to thank y'all for letting me be part of the peak to your day. It's a cool day here in Houston, so this is so appropriate for this time of year. And all that's left to do is to eat it. And you see how thick it thickens up as it cools. And you know, the bigger pot is still cooling on the stove, but we're gonna go ahead and dive into this. And if I had a little sour cream, I would have added that to the top of this, as well as, you know, my little shredded cheese. So I'm gonna go on and get into this, and I wanna ask you all to please give it a try. It's very easy soup to make and even easier to eat, so here we go. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Y'all kind of excuse my appearance because I've been having a lot of errands to run today, but I needed this.